My dear viewers, beginning today is the official Alliteration Gaming Patreon and channel members. Throughout my Patreon, we've got quite a few tiers you can check out in order to gain special perks and even commission videos that you'd like to see me upload onto the channel. Every tier includes a shout out on my supporter card at the beginning of all of my videos, along with the benefits of the tier itself. Following that, you can now also join the Alliteration Nation by becoming a channel member on the YouTube side of things. Pledging your subscription here as a member of the channel is going to grant you the same shout out on my supporter card as all the Patreon tiers do, as well as access to the members only channel on my Discord. You'll gain a member badge that will level up as you stay subscribed and access to my exclusive emotes when I stream on YouTube. If you're interested in checking out the Patreon, I'm going to have the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below, as well as the link to my Discord should you want to join that as well. And if you want to become a channel member, the big beautiful join button is front and center on my homepage right here. And if you do decide to support the channel in any way whatsoever, know that I am unimaginably grateful, and I can't wait to provide you with even more top-notch content at my trademark top speed. Additionally, it's time for the return of the referral code. If you're new here and you're just getting into the game, you've got to make an account on the Universe's gaming network. When you're signing up, you can use my exclusive referral code Alliteration to let Jasco know that I brought you on board, which directly supports me and my work. Having an account on the UGN site is going to allow you to sign up for tournaments, participate in events, locate stores that support the game near you, and much, much more. Playing in events and or mailing in pack wrappers is actually going to accrue loyalty points onto your account, which you'll then be able to redeem for exclusive promo cards in the mail for absolutely free. An account on here is an integral part of playing this game, so make sure you sign up and you use my code Alliteration to help me continue doing what I love. I would really appreciate the support. You guys absolutely killed it on the last one with all of the signups, and I am really excited to run it back with you all. Now, let's get on to the video. Welcome my dear viewers to another Alliteration gaming video. My name's Levi and it's Wednesday, so it's time to do some Wealthy Aspirations, our weekly market watch series where I scour a TCG player for a little handful of cards that I think are particularly interesting to talk about in the secondary market right now, and we go over each of them one by one and do just that. So kicking off right into it, we're going to start with some set 4 stuff. We actually have quite a bit of set 4 stuff to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is just simply the extra credit promos. The majority of LGSs have now received both their extra credit promos and their plus ultra promos for set 4, and we're starting to see some of them enter the market right now, and already we're seeing pretty much the same exact thing happen with them. I have League Interview right here, but pretty much all of them look exactly like this, where they're like extremely inflated prices with very little to almost no market data, and honestly it's really tough to follow any of these right now because they're just so crazy. Even though stores have them, not a lot of stores are really doing sealed events. Not a lot of people are playing in sealed events. It's not the most popular thing as far as the community's local scene is concerned with, and so you just haven't seen a ton of them enter the market yet. And I think a lot of people are also like looking at what happened with the previous series of them and thinking that they can charge those like same numbers again, even though these are probably going to be a lot less rare, still fairly rare, but probably a lot less rare, and will also probably run for a lot longer as well, so there's even more time for them to circulate and more time for more of them to get in people's hands. Truth be told, these will probably stay fairly expensive for quite a while. These prices are a little bit crazy. There's a couple like there's some more slightly reasonable, some of them are more in like the $50-$60 range, but I think all those numbers are like absolutely ludicrous. It remains to be seen if people are going to pay for them like they did start paying for Destined for mainstream success and release. It remains to be seen, but for now I'm not going to say that these prices are like straight up wrong and will never have any validity whatsoever, but take them with a grain of salt until maybe we get like a few more weeks into this and really start to see how these guys settle. Next up, I want to talk about the plus ultra promos in a very similar way. I have Teamwork here as an example, but just like the extra credit promos, this kind of just means to cover the pack as a whole, where there is actually a little bit more sales data on these guys. We actually have seen some sold for like these $30 prices. Basically right now the plus ultra promos are like the weaker ones are listed and selling for $10. The better ones are listed and kind of selling for more around the $30 range, which is like a little wild, but they are legal like right now, as of today, as of the second they were in your hand, they were legal, right? So there is again that that mechanically unique advantage that they do provide right now. So getting your hands on these is quite important right now if you want that competitive edge, but I do think a lot of these are going to settle, a whole lot of these, even before the 60-day embargo runs out and they go on to redemption. I do think that these still probably have a long way to fall, but again, if you need them right now, you kind of have no other choice, and if you have them and don't need them right now, that reason means it could be a good time to sell them and make yourself some scratch. Now let's delve into the actual set 4 itself, and we gotta talk about Vial season again, guys. This card's been pretty much bought out to hell and high water, and it's re-entered those $30 ranges once again. It was selling really consistently once it like resettled around 16, and look at these, just so many sold. Someone bought 11 of them right here for $16. It's crazy. This thing was selling like freaking hotcakes, like there was no tomorrow. There's a $2 one right here. I actually bought that one. I think that might have been a mistake. Whoever sold this one to me, sorry. I might have hoed you a little bit. But regardless, they were selling like crazy at that price, and people said, well, hey, why keep selling it at that price, right? So they started to make their way up into the $25 range, and those were probably like the last few that were in stock, is why they really shot up so hard. And now we're all the way into this $30 range once again. I said that this was the Excited for Blood of the set, and it still basically is. It's just that there's a lot less set 4 being open, and you can see that in all of set 4's ultra rares. Like all of them, a lot of those, if they were like in set 3, would be like 20-cent ultra rares, but they're actually holding like really reasonable prices. Guys, there's like low-key value in set 4 actually. I know it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to see. I'm really happy about it, to be honest. I like when my cards have value. It feels fantastic. I like when product is worth buying. It feels fantastic. And Vial season is pretty much the biggest proprietor of that. I think $30 is a little out of control for this card. I think we'll see it resettle maybe more so in the $22, $25 range, which for a card this good and this stable and this desired is really a perfectly reasonable place for it to settle. And if you look at the XR, they're basically even right now, but there's only one XR left at 35, and then, you know, I mean, it was selling very hardcore at that price, so they'll probably restock later on. They'll probably come back into the market at a much higher price. Speaking of set 4's ultra rares being actual money, man, double overhead hammer fist has also gone pretty supernova. This one was holding like, you know, the like $8 to $10 range for a really long time, and then the market just finally ran out, and people said now's a good time to bump this bad boy up a little bit. And I mean, I don't think this card even has like a ton of competitive viability, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, if you're a muscular player, you need this card. Cementos also really likes this card. I don't know if there's anyone else that really wants to play this card, but at the very least, for all the muscular players, man, this bad boy is going to start running you a pretty penny. I don't know if it's going to hold this price. I think it'll probably fall back into 10, but even a card like this holding 10 is pretty impressive. Next up, we have a really strange scenario. Decoy duplicates. Not XR, just regular rare. Decoy duplicates are gone. They're gone. They've disappeared. They've melted away, just like the Dobby clone here. Obviously, you know, a $2-3 rare was pretty fine. Then it looks like they just started getting very scarce, went to about $5, and now they're just not here anymore, which is really interesting. I think this one's just gonna like come back into the market. People are gonna see this and go, whoa, I'll post mine up for $5. We'll get a bunch of those, and it'll eventually go back to being like an actual normal rare price. This is kind of just a funny thing to point out. I mean, the card is very good. The card does see play in all three of those symbols. Chaos is still like the best symbol in the game right now. Air and Void really coming back in with set 4 a lot of decks. I mean, a lot of people want this card, like straight up. It does make sense that it's here, and that it did have a random buyout like this, but I don't think it's gonna like hold into anything crazy. Now, continuing with these crazy cards with Dobby's face on them, we also got to talk about Twisting Azure Inferno again. I've been preaching this one for a super duper long time now, guys. A few weeks back, we covered how it was starting to go crazy. I think the only reason this card didn't continue to be a crazy price after Nationals is people didn't expect it to exist after Nationals and Worlds. I think people expected this card to get hard banned, or at the very least Tokoyami, the deck that it's the most competitive deck that it's the best performing in, to get hard banned in some way. But nothing touched it whatsoever. Going into these upcoming competitive events, Twisting Azure decks, Tokoyami decks, Dobby 2 decks, still some of the best things that you can be taking, and the price is reflecting that. There's only a handful of these left on the market right now, and they shot up to some really really crazy numbers. The card was selling extremely consistently at like the $15 to $18 price point as of like the last month or so, and now it's finally just kind of broken that ceiling wide open and it's starting to enter some new territories. I'm not sure if it'll stay here, but I mean, at this point, if you were wanting to play this card in a deck in this upcoming competitive season, you didn't have them if you didn't have them by now, it is probably on you. And if you look, we're seeing similar stuff with the XR as well. Pretty much got completely bought out. It used to be around the $20 range pretty consistently, but now with the normal one being so much, we're seeing some crazy numbers from the XR as well. Next up is another thing that we talked about a few weeks ago, where the XR Ojiro 2s got pretty much completely bought out and then just put to some really goofy numbers. It's very worth noting that this one shop has put 4 of them in stock at $5 with $3 shipping, which is very good. That's pretty much what it was back in the day, like back when it was a very reasonable price. And well, I don't think it's gonna come back into the market anything crazy. Like if you want one, like this like go pick one of these 4 up right now. That's pretty much all I have to say to you. Next up, another XR Hardened Uppercut, man. All symbol punches have been getting pretty spicy lately, pretty popular lately, especially with that old erase guy. I hear a bunch of people have been winning their provisionals with that guy on all, and all punches is the package that comes alongside basically all those decks. People also like playing Ojiro 2 on all. It's probably his worst symbol, but it's still like an absolutely insane deck because of how good the character is. This XR has pretty much been $3 to $5 for a long time. We've got one left in stock at $7, and maybe it becomes a $10 XR after that. Maybe not. Either way, I hope you had these. If not, keep an eye out for them to re-enter the market and try and snag some at a reasonable price. Our next returning usual suspect, man. This week feels like the week of we need to talk about X again, because holy cow, guys, Chivalrous is doing its thing once more. It got the last few around the $22, $25 range basically got bought out, and then a few sold for $30, and now they're pretty much holding that $30 price point. Like those last few sold for $30, and now it just looks like that might be what this card is now. Again, people don't really want to open set 3. There's not a ton of value in the set. You can't redeem for this card. You have no other way to get it other than the box topper. The insane Chaos and Earth decks that are like were dominating the previous format and look to continue to dominate us this format because nothing got touched, they all still need to hard 4X this card. The all Ojiros who want to play that symbol, they need this card. The all erasers that want to fight the Ojiro Menace, they need this card. In general, this card's just still as desired as ever, if not even more desired going into this new meta, and I really don't expect it to stray very far from a $30 price point anytime soon. Next up, let's talk about Meteor Shower. Meteor Shower we talked about a little while back. We kind of said to be aware that this one might start selling like hotcakes soon and could be on the rise. That rise came almost immediately after. It basically went from like a $3 ultra rare to a $10 ultra rare at the drop of a hat, and now it's pretty much just to get like an update on it, it's basically settled into that $10 price point. We have a lot more than we had in stock before, all still hovering around that $10 range, and it looks like this price could be here to stay for Meteor Shower. Honestly, it could even go more, right? Like there's definitely potential to go more. A lot of these get into like the $12, $13 range really quickly, and it kind of just remains to be seen what the future of Meteor Shower might be. This honestly might still be the best price we'll see for this card in quite a while. Another charge attack that we've got to talk about, very similar Ochako charge attack. This time there was Home Run Comets XR. This one's looking very scarce right now, boys. These were like $12, $15 for a pretty long time. It was very easy to find them at those numbers. And then like in the last couple weeks or so, these last few have been just kind of getting snagged up, and now they're entering some very scary territory. So if you're that XR hunter still trying to hunt down the last of these, you might have to wait for this one to be a little bit more reasonable. Wait for a few more people to notice this drought and bring their own into the market. I can't say it's super surprising though. A lot of the decks that I talked about Meteor Shower going the way of the Dodo for, they want to play Home Run Comet too, right? Even more so, right? Because you got a lot of like the Tokoyamis and the Dabis that also want to play this card. Again, it's just kind of it's just one of those that's here to stay. Speaking of those Tokoyamis and Dabis, man, Dark Shadow Ruins XR also looking to finally enter some real scary price territory. This one was way too cheap for way too long. I've been talking about buying this XR for quite a while now. When they were, you know, $4, $5, $6, $7, that price is like such a crazy price for such a competitively viable and popular XR ultra rare to be at. Made almost no sense. I know that the RLEs do exist, but I also know that a lot of people do not like the RLE very much. So not surprising to see this one finally starting to enter some real numbers, you know, nearly quadrupling all the way to like, you know, the $23, $25 range. It just makes sense, guys. This one had it way too good for way too long, and unless you want to start paying some real crazy pennies, you might just have to be okay with that RLE if you weren't before. And that's gonna pretty much do it for this week's Wealthy Aspiration, guys. A lot of usual suspects that we had to bring back into the fold, and of course a lot of promo madness as always, and some of those ultra rares really making their name known as some of the hot pickups for this competitive season. A pretty exciting week altogether when it comes to some Wealthy Aspirations, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and learned anything from it, I would really appreciate some feedback down below. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can become a channel member by hitting that join button, or of course check out my Patreon for a bunch of my video commission tiers where we can work together and you could have impact on the type of stuff I put onto the channel. I'm gonna have everything linked down below in the description and the pinned comments as always, but I just super appreciate you making it all the way to the end of this one. That's all the time I've got for today. I hope I can see you in the next one.